So friends, I'm glad to welcome you all to a new video. Today I'm going to show you, again, what's happening at the construction site, because I don't work that much to film again. And so the video will be about construction, and again we will look at new technologies, because we have an overload of fishing line for the log house and the body. And the body is of this type for a long time. Now I'll show you what's happening on this side of the site. Let's go. This log cabin, which started a while back. The guys finished cutting it. Back then, I told you that we digging all the way down to the ground. Here there's snow left. Yes, down to the ground. And we're breaking up the snow down to the ground because when the sun is out, it could melt away. So we stomped down, broke up the ground, and set it in place, and nothing else will move around here anymore. And now the log cabin is standing in the pit, even though everything underneath has melted. Next, they completely finished it off. They started working here after Ben on the promo too. Will be companies. I haven't seen this either, but here's one post. And here are two posts where they've already marked it out. Everything is clear. It should be not just on this side. On this side, the sun is shining and mist is so... It's interesting, you know, this bathhouse, I think. Next, the young, trendy Moscow bathhouse that I need to go collect in Moscow, but I just can't make it there because the client is having some issues. Like this elements. Well, this will be a slave. They're making it themselves. Everything is elementary. Let's go. Let's go. A while. Actually, never mind. Let's go over there. This is what they have. The log cabin turned out well. We also have a Canadian chart with suspension. Everything is done according to technology. That is, here it is. Here's the suspension line, and then it goes up to the ancient stage. And the higher the crowns, meaning on the lower crowns, there's a big hinge. It's installed at 1.8, and every 3 crowns, you reduce it, and here comes the last one. No, it's already outside without the hinge, because the log isn't needed there. We ended up with a bathhouse right away, and the guys have almost finished building it. By the way, they already have all the ready-made elements. And so they already have the ready-made elements. This is the ridge, a rafter, another rafter. Here, everything is also ready. So this bath will also be finished soon, and will be waiting for shipment. Well, I hope I'm already assembling them. Oh. And we have this log cabin here. Just bam, this is also a bath. Which is very interesting. Yes, such a big bath. It comes with a cake. I think it's 60 cubic meters. A dense log cabin. And such a situation happened last year when the well-known events began. The citizen from Italy took it and he ordered it. In January, we made it. We were planning to transport it, and then he left to Italy, and now he lives in Italy. If I could go to Italy for the assembly, I would be happy. Here's such a bath. The view turned out well, by the way. I was talking about our braces. Here you can see the braces. They were made from raw material. And so it turns out a year, maybe more than a year, that's how cracks appear. The braces that I made them from semi-finished material, and that's why there will be such cracks. A crack about every 2 months. Well, yes, it will be stronger. So let's take some semi-finished material let's move on. Then this one here, this is actually an interesting case. So this person has a business. It's like a small collective farm. Well, he's into agriculture. And so last year, apparently, he sold all his grain, a lot of it, and ordered a house. So this year, he's going to do something there. I wonder where he'll get the money from. He's pouring the foundation, and we're still transporting it. And if I don't know whether it's a bath or not, then we ended up with this bathhouse info. In short, it's some kind of building, because it's really hard to figure it out in general. Whether it's a house or a bath. Sometimes a bath can be 400 square meters, while a house can be 30 square meters. So it's hard to figure it out. What is this? So I call it, that's what I call it. Honestly, I don't know. So that's how it is. That's how it is for us. The house isn't needed because of the bath. And now we've reached the body. The main reason I started filming this series, we're going to build from the body now. This is how the body will look. The body, if anyone didn't know, well, most likely they didn't. This is such a material. This is dry pine from a house beyond the Arctic Circle. So this is dead standing pine. It only cuts into the Russian section. Basically, and it seems like it doesn't settle with either rarity or rigidity. You see, it has bog beetles with bugs, that's the thing. Oh, it's prettier here, isn't it? It's just with bugs, with beetles. The most ideal is considered to be this one, completely gray, inside like that, completely gray with bugs. So the more of this kind of landscape there is, the more expensive it is considered. And initially this is for the body, meaning it's usually bought for years. Regular wood is considered to have a diameter that is a multiple, so you have there 436 meters with a diameter of 31, and the wood there is 35. So it's not an odd number, only even specifically a multiple and solid. Here, a KELO is considered not only to be a multiple of 1, that is, maybe the length is 31 diameter, and plus it is sold by the meter. That is, you can buy 3 meters, 4 meters, 5 meters, 5.5 meters, 6 meters. Wood is sold in 6 or 4 meters. We buy 6 meter lengths. The body is sold in 3 meter lengths. Options for any measurement. Diameter is 29, can be 4 meter, planned. Exactly like that, sold in 3 meter lengths, available for any measurement. You pour it into the club tool, it's jointed there. So this one has a diameter of 29, right? It can be, let's say, this 4 meter one, 29 in diameter, 4 meter, planed, that's it. Just like that. The club tool considers it, and the price for the body is based on an average of 3 meters. 3-4 times higher, and it depends on what kind of body the constant grain has built. The price depends on that. But again, the fact that the constant is different, this contour, it is also very, very different. And this is, of course, an interesting experience that we will be conducting. I've never built with the body before, but basically I won't be building it myself. I'll be going to other activities and the guys will be building. Of course, I'll watch this, show it, and it seems like I'm only involved in the section because it doesn't dry out. It just all comes apart. I'll be going to other activities and the guys will be building. Of course, I'll take a look at this, show it, and it seems like I'm only involved in the section because it doesn't dry out. It just comes apart. It will be covered with bugs. The more of this, the better, because later when the house is completely ready, it won't be sanded anymore. It doesn't paint, nothing. So like they narrowed it down like this, and that's how it will stay. So, well, I don't know, just clean it with a brush, but basically nothing will be done here. No sanding, no painting, nothing at all. Nothing will be done here. No sanding, no painting, nothing at all. I'll attach a photo for you right now, so you can see what the body looks like. So we're done with the body, let's move on. So my garage is lying on this site. Since it's leaving in a few days, I'll go to assemble it. Oh, you said here's my garage? I'm taking it to him, and here it is lying. Here. I'm going to this garage to assemble it, and then I hope that someone, the client from Moscow, also clarify and pay for everything, and I'll go to assemble it for him. Well, let's go to the other side of the site. Here's how things are going with the timber house. Let the others have it. Here we go, going. On this side is the house where I helped the guys assemble the truss. Sanya and Seryoga are right there. Sanya and Seryoga, the ones over there, just finished that bathhouse. Well, they're finishing it up. I'm with them. I'm also planning to assemble here in this truss. There's a previous video about this. This house has already been dismantled. Like the house is again the bathhouse. So it was completely dismantled again, and it's already leaving for the storage on Friday to be loaded. Now, let me tell you an interesting detail. And it's already leaving for the storage on Friday to be loaded. Now let me tell you an interesting detail. Look here. Here's the first crown, right? They didn't leave it, guys. So I'm removing it. So when you know that I'm going to be assembling a surprise, I'll definitely show it during the disassembly when there's just one crown left. Well, I'll show the last crown, or any roughly speaking. And here, these are all the points. At each intersection, there's a point, and I write down next to these points. So I take a tape measure everything completely, and record the cycle. So after this, when I arrive for the assembly, I don't take the design values like what they should be. but I take these values instead. For example, it might be like this. Well, for instance, or there might be a slightly longer log or something else, which means to cut it like that. And so that then when I covered the opening, there wasn't any cutting of the log onto the log or holes because you assembled it too wide. Then you write down these new values, and later you assemble with those values, well, maybe by a centimeter, half a centimeter, and so on. That's basically normal. And if you assemble, well, like initially, if you take the project perfectly and assemble according to it, then later you cover it up. In my case, such a situation occurs, for example, overlaps, and it, for instance, overlaps the hole just there. And it needs to be extended by 2 centimeters somewhere, but it can't be adjusted because you see, we need to hit the entire term. And when we do the log cabin, if we do it, the regions where, for example, it's possible. Now, when connecting the branches, we definitely nail it to the foundation. What's it called? Basically, a farmer's hole anti-rink to the foundation. If there's a region where it's impossible to allow the house with the excavator, then it's just chosen. Like with the anti-rink log cabin, it's hard to shift it back and forth, but it's very difficult. So I didn't take them once. It's simple. You take some log, look for it in some gnawings, and start working on the trunk to also get that kind of pleasure. And the most interesting part, so it's easier, of course, much more. You need to think all of this through in advance. I can, for example, here, well, there's no axis here, right? I'm drawing another sheet for myself, let's say, and I measure the distance with a tape measure and mark my points, and that's it. Then, when I arrive for the assembly, I calmly put everything together without any problems, and everything fits perfectly. So here we have the house already taken apart, and again we completely took everything. So this red treatment is a treatment, Legnofit, a very good treatment. It has proven itself very well. I built a coffee shop with it. Man, it's just great. If you come back after a year, for example, to do some additional work on the house or something like that, well, next door, well, the client is probably ordering a few buildings. You arrive and it's all gray, but you see that it's perfectly white. And if nothing happens, then of course it will happen. It's generally sad that this lasts for a long time during the day and so on. It's the end of April here. We have snow. It's just crazy when this happens. Alright, let's move on. This log cabin here. It's also clear what this is. He doesn't know. It's a bathhouse. The guys are building too, and I hope they will build it up. He will go through the door if my memory serves me right. And what about the finished log cabin? And again, this is the most interesting project for me because everything else, I repeat, I've built before, but I've never built with timber like this. And this is also a crew working with timber. They are almost done, but there's a little nuance. They are cutting the timber faster than it can arrive. So, roughly speaking, this timber is being cut from logs with a diameter of 650 and above. And it turns out that they all agree on this. So, roughly speaking, this timber is cut from logs with a diameter of 650 and above. And it turns out that they all agree. So, it doesn't take long for the guys. They're cutting the timber, so they stack the finished timber into piles much faster than they can cut it. That's why don't work at such a high speed. Because what's the point? They come there, they stack this Hamas full of timber for about a week, and now they're waiting for the next one. Well, it's probably been 2 weeks. 2 weeks total. That's why they came, put the cameras to there with Brewsome. Then they went to another site. They were setting all of this up. Here's the backpack we have. Well, they have a little house made of timber too. And basically, a little house made of timber too. Well, basically, I like the technology. Of course, it's also very convenient. I like the technology. Of course, it's also very convenient. But again, the price for a house made of timber is already almost the same as cutting per hour. Therefore, if initially earlier, sometime they will evaluate it as a cheap material, then there will already be such sizes of flows. This is basically the price based on the actual cutting per hour. So that's how it is with them. Cutting per hour, so that's how it is with them. That's exactly it. They make little sandcastles and cloths, all of that. Just like we use pins to hold things together, if you ask for a pin, then the pin is supplied and everything gets tightened up. So that's how all our disruptions happen. It's cold, just like that. You can't imagine, we really have the end of the season and it's minus 10 degrees outside. It snows every other day. I'm already switching to summer tires to do for machine manipulation. I'm switching to summer tires. I get home and somehow when I go outside, black ice, I wake up in injuries, snow, melts. thank God. Today I also already connected the spring average in the garden in summer clothes. It's cold. I'm completely afraid of M15. Once I bought it, I'll wait a week. So we're getting through it, so thank you for watching. Subscribe, give us a like, and we'll see you in the next part. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a like, and we'll see you in the next part.